We have a wonderful program this morning. My name is Susan Katzman. I'm the other half of SnL. My partner in crime is Lisa Gubernick, our Vice President for Membership. And I think as a good portion of you on here know, we have been doing Coffee Talk for well over a year and a half now. And we have many more exciting programs planned for the months to come. And we particularly want to thank 2 Men in a Truck for being our sponsor for this show. The topic this morning is jewelry. And we have with us Ann Pokoski, who is a fine jewelry consultant. But much more than that, Jen has a deep background. She has been in fashion. She's been in design. She's a gemologist. She's done 20 years of high-end jewelry appraisal. She's talked with people about how to wear jewelry. She was very involved in marketing with Plaza Frontenac and other places. So her experience is vast. I don't want to spend too long because we have a full program for this morning. We met Ann because Ann, Jessica Dunneman, our shop retail operations director, had Ann work with her on some donations that came into the shop. And so through that, we all became acquainted with Ann, and we appreciate Jessica sharing Ann's name with us. So without further ado, Ann, I'm going to turn things over to you. And again, we are just delighted you're here. And let's show, I think we want to start with showing your beautiful picture, and then your baby picture. And then you're going to chat just a little bit about you and then move into a definition of fine jewelry.
Okay.
Thank you. And to the audience, let me just share with you, if you've got questions, please put them in the chat, or as we usually do a little later on, Lisa will come on and we will take other questions from you. Thanks so much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everybody, on this kind of gloomy morning. Thank you, Susan and Lisa. I'm so delighted to be here. Thanks to the NCJW. You have a special place in my heart for a lot of reasons, and I'm delighted to be here today. The baby picture, I guess if we have to do that, let's just maybe do that now.
Give me a moment while you introduce yourself. I'll get it up on the screen.
Okay. I am a St. Louis person. Just a little history about me. I lived in South City till I was a young girl, and then moved to Manchester and went to Kennedy High School and went to Mizzou for a journalism school. After that, I was very fortunate to have actually 2 careers. The first one was in the shopping center business. I worked for Plaza Frontenac, as Susan said, in the marketing office, which was a tremendous first job. And then I went to work for Highsell Properties Company, which was the developer of Crestwood Plaza, Northwest Plaza, and the St. Louis Galleria, which was owned by the Zarensky family. And I worked for them for a number of years, and specifically on the St. Louis Galleria project. Well, Westroads Mall, and then through 91 and the big expansion we did. After that, I decided, you know, I've been in the shopping center business for over a decade. It wasn't anything I intended to do. I fell into it. I was very fortunate, but I have a long career life ahead of me, and I wanted to change to something that gave me additional opportunities to grow. So I completely started my life over professionally, and I went into the fine jewelry business. Then I worked in retail, became a gemologist, worked in retail for over 20 years, most recently with Ellard Heffern for 15 years. And then I started my own business as a fine jewelry advisor 4 years ago. I created the role for myself. There aren't very many people like me in the country, but with my experience in luxury and luxury marketing and gemology and all of the things I had done, I created this role as an advisor. And so what I do is I offer unbiased, independent advice and guidance to anyone who is facing a jewelry decision through a wide range of professional services that I offer. Brooke, are we ready with the picture? That would be Anne Pokoski at about 1 year of age, sitting on the back porch of our little brick bungalow in South City. I was looking at this picture last night. I think I might have been an only child for about another minute or two after that. I'm the oldest of 5 kids that came in very rapid succession. So that's me then, and this is me today. So I'm going to start by, as Susan suggested, a definition of fine jewelry. And that's an interesting question because the definition of fine jewelry has changed pretty dramatically over the last decades, and it continues to change. But fine jewelry used to mean jewelry that was created out of precious metals. So that would be gold, platinum, and silver, using precious stones, which used to be considered diamonds, sapphires, rubies, emeralds, and maybe pearls. But it isn't really that anymore because that nomenclature of precious stones and the semi-precious stones isn't used much in the business today, because you can have a beautiful tourmaline or peridot or amethyst, and that would still be a beautiful piece of fine jewelry. And also, since a lot of mixed metals have come into fashion and people, exceptional designers like David Yurman, have gotten into sterling silver in a big way, they are setting that sterling silver with beautiful high quality diamonds, using very fine goldsmithing techniques. So to me, that is also fine jewelry. So, and there are also other metals being used like titanium and aluminum, and they're being set with diamonds and precious gems. So fine jewelry today is really, to me, if it has something, a precious metal or a beautiful gemstone, and it's made well, to me, that is fine jewelry. So it's not really a distinction that is so clear cut. People have tried to say, oh, well, there's designer jewelry, like the Yurmans and the John Hardys of the world. And then there's costume jewelry, and they've invented terms like demi-fine jewelry and high jewelry. It's not that important. If it's a beautiful piece of jewelry that's well made using good materials, then to me, it's fine jewelry. So we're going to talk today a little bit about trends in fine jewelry. And as you know, trends in ready to wear move very quickly, and we have fast fashion, and we can buy things at Uniqlo and Zara that were on the runway just 3 weeks ago. But in trends in fine jewelry move much more slowly because there's a lot more work involved and craftsmanship involved in creating a piece. And they're a lot more expensive than clothing generally, maybe not handbags, but generally clothing. And it's just a much slower trending period over maybe decades. So I'm going to start with some slides. We're going to look at what's happening in wedding jewelry right now, because that's where a lot of trends originate, is actually in what brides are choosing for themselves. So I want to talk about the latest trend in diamonds, which is oval diamonds. And I really think we can go back to a specific point in time of about 8 to 10 years ago when Blake Lively got engaged to Ryan Reynolds, and she was given a stupendous oval diamond, and it was set on a very, very narrow pave band, just one little row of diamonds supporting this massive gemstone. I think that look really resonated with people. And so after Blake, we have Hailey Bieber, who's married to Justin. Hailey also has a massive oval diamond. And obviously she's looking at her phone here, but we cannot underestimate the influence of celebrity culture via social media on all aspects of jewelry, especially wedding jewelry. This is where trends are coming from today, is social media. So there's Hailey admiring her oval ring. We also have one of the Kardashian clan. Courtney just became engaged to Travis Barker recently, within the last 2 months. And she also ended up with a stupendous oval diamond. So we're seeing ovals everywhere. And when I talk to my local jewelers here and diamond dealers, they tell me that yes, ovals, they've seen a 15 to 20% increase in people requesting oval diamonds. And they're harder to get now because demand is high, supply is somewhat low, and it's for real. It's not just a celebrity phenomenon. It is something that's very much happening with brides today. Another bridal trend that we're seeing is actually quite old. This is a style of ring that was popular even in the 1700s, and it is the trois et moi style, which is a 2-stone ring, and trois et moi means me and you. So we have Ariana Grande. She is on 2 trends here. She's got her big oval diamond, and then she did the 2 stones, one of which is a pearl. And supposedly that pearl was recognizing her grandmother in some special way. I would never recommend a pearl for an engagement ring because it's not durable, but I don't think Ariana cares about that. She's just got her 2-stone ring there, and I'm sure she loves it. Another trois et moi bold ring is this one. I can't quite see it, but this is Emily Ratajkowski's ring. I think that's a big pair and maybe a princess cut or a radiant. So 2 stones, 2 big diamonds. We have another example, another Kardashian clan member. Okay, so these are 2 rings. They are the big version and the mini me version. This is Kylie Jenner, who just had her 2nd child with her partner, Travis Scott. So a few months ago, Travis had these rings made for the 2 women in his life, Kylie. So we have this large pear diamond and a huge radiant diamond. And I think that's what that is. And then he had, for their daughter, Stormy, who's 3 years old, he had the same ring made for her. I suspect those stones are about a carat each. So she's got a beautiful ring as well. And then on to the next one. This is really an incredible piece. Again, it's the trois et moi trend. We have a beautiful pear cut diamond and a matching pear cut emerald. And this ring was created for, I'm blanking. Oh, Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly gave this to her. This is their engagement ring. So the diamond represents the birthstone for April, and I believe that is his birthday. I may have these reversed, and the emerald is for the May birthday. So it's 2 birthstones. It's actually 2 rings. If you want to go to the next slide, they were created by London-based jeweler Stephen Webster. Stephen is a very high profile jeweler who has a rock and roll clientele of very famous people. So Machine Gun Kelly worked with Stephen Webster specifically to create these 2 rings, which are magnetized. Somehow he buried magnets in the shanks of the rings so that when you put them together, they click, they stick together. And they're beautiful. The design is beautiful. I think this is an extraordinary piece, and it's much more than just big stones. Stephen Webster actually has been to St. Louis. He was at Ellard Heffern about 20 years ago. I know his work very well. I used to sell it there, and it's beautifully crafted, and the stones are absolutely stupendous. Then the next trend for bridal jewelry that we're seeing is the use of yellow gold. So if you got married, let's say in the last 20 years or so, 30 maybe, You probably had your wedding jewelry set in white metal, which would have been platinum or white gold. If you were married before then, you probably had your rings set in yellow gold. And if you preceded that cyclically, you probably had a white gold or a platinum ring. It seems to be that young women who are getting married don't want to have what their mothers had. So this cycle of switching from yellow to white and back and forth takes place over the decades. And I think we've reached the tipping point because so many young brides I'm working with today are wanting yellow. And when I look at the web pages of designers I know on the East and West Coast, Brooke, if you want to pull up those slides, everything is yellow again. We have classic rings like this that you're seeing, 3-stone rings and solitaires and eternity bands set in yellow. And you can go to the next one. More yellow, all yellow, and one more slide. These are very classic rings, all in yellow. So even if you're not getting married in the near future and you're happily married and have been together for a long time, you're going to start seeing yellow jewelry, yellow diamond jewelry trickle back into the mainstream. So if you had a tennis bracelet or a diamond solitaire pendant or a diamond necklace where they've been set in white metal for the last 20 to 30 years, and that's what people have been wearing, yellow is going to start reappearing. I can tell you this for sure. So I remember resetting people's yellow gold tennis bracelets, yellow gold tennis bracelets into white, white metal 10, 15 years ago, because that was the more trendy look. It was more current. It's switching back. So those are trends in bridal jewelry that you'll see moving into jewelry that we'll be buying in colored stones and anything else that we might enjoy. Another trend I'd like to discuss is what I call more is more. So it's this effect of piling on your jewelry. These trends even have their own hashtags, like hashtag arm party. This woman is wearing watches and gold and leather all together. It's, stacking your bracelets on. She's wearing this, yes, go ahead. And our next example is wearing lots of beaded bracelets. So piling on of the arm party look is definitely still happening. The next one, there's our friend J-Lo. She is wearing hashtag neck mess. This is the official name for this concept of layering on multiple necklaces, some featuring perhaps things that are precious to you like charms or talismans, layering in maybe a strand of pearls, diamonds. It has its own name. It's neck mess. We have another example with Gwyneth wearing her neck mess, and another example with an unknown person just really piling it on. This is a very fun look. It's very personal. It's also not easy to achieve because everything has to be a different length to fit properly. And these things get tangled up, but it is what is current. The next slide, I think is, let's see, multiple piercings. Again, piling it on. We have the beautiful Cynthia Erivo. She is really known for her ear piercings. She also has a septum piercing, but she loads up her ears with earrings. And again, because this is celebrity culture and social media, obviously all of us know people with multiple piercings, and they may be wearing multiple hoops or hoops with studs. And it's just a lot. It's a lot on the wrists. It's a lot on the neck. It's a lot on the ears. And of course, many people wear stacking rings. That's been a trend for quite a while, and I don't see that going anywhere either. But I was thinking about this neck mess and the arm party, and then I saw Rihanna's pregnancy announcement, and it was kind of bandied about in the jeweler trade magazines that maybe this is the start of belly mess, because Rihanna has made a very conscious statement here in her SnL vintage puffer coat. She is wearing long necklaces. The cross up at the top is it's very fine costume jewelry. That is a piece by Christian Lacroix. It's vintage. And then the long chain is pearls and glass beads. That is by SnL. And I was thinking about this. You can go to the next slide, Brooke. You know, women her age have really not embraced the long chain look, multiple layers of long chains. That was really, the last time that was really popular to my mind is when Karl Lagerfeld was at SnL and really had made a statement and brought back this multiple beaded necklace look that SnL herself used to wear. And that was in the late 80s. So it's been a while since this look was popular. And if anyone has the influence to bring it back, it would be Rihanna. Now, I don't know if people will be layering this over their open bellies. I don't suspect so, but I think there's a lot of girls wearing high-waisted pants and crop tops. And so to layer long necklaces like this, it might be something that we see coming. So just keep that in mind as we go through the next few seasons of fashion presentations, but belly mess may be a thing. We shall see. Okay, moving on to the last trend I'd like to bring up is new pearls. I happen to love pearls, and I think pearls have gone in and out of fashion. They can be perceived as being a little bit musty right now and a little bit maternal, maybe, or matronly, I should say. But I think pearls are really coming back. And I believe the reason for this is because there are so many more women designers working in the fine jewelry industry. Men have never really understood what the allure of pearls, I think. As women, we can put them on and we see how pearls can cast light onto our faces, and they're so soft and feminine and I think really beautiful. But men are drawn, I think, more to diamonds and colored gems and sparkly things in their designs. But now we have an entirely new crew of women designers around the world, and many of them have embraced pearls. So we are seeing some new designs finally in pearls. So we can go to some of the slides. This first piece is an asymmetric ring by a woman designer. The company name is Mizuki, and her name is Mizuki Goltz. She's from Tokyo, and she works in New York and Los Angeles. But we have this asymmetric play of a Baroque, probably South Sea pearl, and this swath of round diamonds coming down. It's very graceful on the finger, and it's very new looking. The next piece is by these wonderful graduated pearl earrings that sway. These were designed by a woman named Sophie Bill-Bra, and she works out of Copenhagen. She's really one of the designers at the forefront of pearls right now. If we look at the next slide, this is hers as well. So many of us own a graduated strand of pearls where typically the largest pearl is in the front and then it graduates to the back to smaller pearls. Well, she has turned that completely upside down. She's gone to extreme graduation. So we see these tiny little baby pearls next to some big ones, and it's on the side of the necklace. The clasp is in the back, but you can wear it however you want. I just saw this necklace in the Wall Street Journal's fashion section of their magazine 2 weekends ago. And they had paired it with a traditional black fitted notch collar jacket. And it looked really modern and great. And I thought, good for her, because I really like her designs. I think they take the best things about pearls and turn them on their ear and represent them in new and modern ways. Okay, in our next slide, we have a pair of studded kind of punk pearl hoops. These were designed by a woman named Melanie Georgakopoulos. She works for a Japanese company called Tasaki. Melanie lives in Germany. I think she's Greek, but the company is Japanese. So these are fun and different and new. And then the next slide, we have another kind of punk interpretation of pearls. This is done in sterling silver and beautiful Akoya Japanese pearls that come from the saltwater. In partnership with Mikimoto, they were created and designed by Comme des Garçons, the very contemporary French house that is designed by Kawakubo Ray. And I thought this was a really fun way to interpret pearls as well. I don't know if I have any more after that, Brooke. Oh yes, one more ring, another ring by Melanie at Tasaki. Now she took Tahitian pearls and South Sea pearls and sliced them in half, which just really shocked pearl aficionados because you wouldn't do that, but she does, and she likes it. And then she put little bands of diamonds around them to create a very dramatic ring. So I thank our women designers who are bringing pearls back to the forefront. I love pearls and it's fun to see. And I think we will start seeing some of these trends come from the coasts to St. Louis in no time at all. Okay, now you get to look at me for a while. I don't have any pictures for a bit here, but I want to talk about, well, just so you know, we picked 5 things to talk about today because I could discuss jewelry all day long. But when Lisa and Susan and I were putting this presentation together, we said, let's try and limit it to 5. So I picked 5 things that I think are important. I want to talk about a new technological breakthrough in the jewelry industry that is extremely important. And it's amazing. But that is laboratory grown diamonds. So you are all familiar with diamonds and you know they grow in the Earth's crust and they come from volcanic, the mantle far down in Earth, and they burst forward, and it takes literally millions of years for a diamond to be formed. So if you are wearing a diamond today, you have something on your body that is millions of years old. You can now purchase a laboratory grown diamond that took about maybe 3 weeks to grow in a factory. Lab-grown diamonds have been around for a long time. General Electric first began synthesizing diamonds in the 1950s, and they were able to create very ugly brown and yellow diamonds that were quite small, and those were used for industrial purposes. But they were diamonds. They're not CZs, they're not moissanite, they're not glass. They are chemically, structurally, carbon, they are diamonds. Over these last 60 years, man has continually tried to improve that process, and they have done it. So what's important about this is, first of all, the availability of diamonds. Factories can churn out diamonds a lot faster than diamond mines can, and the more factories that are built, the more diamonds there will be on the market. De Beers has a diamond factory in the state of Oregon. It opened in the last 2 years. There are a lot of diamonds being produced, lab-grown diamonds being produced in China. We don't know how many more factories there will be. But the biggest component of all of this is you can go on your computer right now and go to lightboxjewelry.com, which is the De Beers website for their own lab-grown diamonds, and you can buy a beautiful 1-carat round diamond in the near colorless range, which would be GH or I on the GIA color scale, with slightly included as the clarity grade, so you can see nothing, no inclusions to the naked eye. You can buy that diamond for $800, and it is a diamond. If you were to go to another source, whether it's another online source or your local retail jeweler that you have a long-standing relationship with, depending if it's an estate diamond or new, you would spend between $4,000 and $6,000 perhaps for that exact same diamond. So it's really, well, this is a pun, but it's really rocking the industry right now. We don't know, as people in the industry, as gemologists, we don't know how this is all going to pan out. The only instance in jewelry history that really echoes this is when the pearl industry converted from natural pearls, which would be found in an oyster or a mollusk. If you were to open it up and there would be a pearl, that would just be a happy accident of nature. When Mikimoto began culturing pearls over 100 years ago, all of a sudden a pearl strand, which would take maybe a decade to accumulate all the pearls for that, and they were very expensive and very rare. All of a sudden with cultured pearls, where man was nucleating the oyster or the mollusk, cultured pearls became much, much more affordable, and people could buy a strand of pearls. And most of us, 99.9% of us, own strands of cultured pearls. So that completely changed the pearl industry, and natural pearls now are only sought after by collectors. They're extremely rare. So we don't know what's going to happen. So as a fine jewelry advisor, I think it's important people know that this is going on. It's an important option to consider if you're thinking about diamonds. I might buy myself a pair of lab-grown diamond studs. I never thought I would say that or do that, but I've seen these diamonds and they are real diamonds. They are extremely high quality and they are beautiful, but they're not natural and they're not from out of the ground. They were made in a factory. So that's a choice that every consumer has to make for him or herself. The one point I always like to make is that if you choose to buy a lab-grown diamond, we do not know what the value of that stone will be in the future. So if let's say you have a lab-grown diamond and you pay $1,600 for your pair of diamond studs and they're a carat each. That's great. You wear them and enjoy them. The time comes when you want to liquidate and you go to sell those diamond studs. In 5 years, will they be worth $50 a piece, $200 a piece? We don't know. We really don't know. So it's something that I stay up on, of course. I read about this every day in the trades. I talk to my people in the industry, but it's just, it's really a breakthrough, and I think consumers need to be aware of it. And the next time you're out looking at jewelry, just ask, do you have any lab-grown diamonds? And take a look. You might, or go online and check them out. It's really a fascinating phenomenon. Okay, now we're going to talk about how to take care of the jewelry that you already own, how to care for your fine jewelry. The first thing I'm going to do is just run through a list of tips from my website. If you want to go to my website, it's finejewelryconsultants with an S, plural.com. And you'll find a tab, how to care for your jewelry. The first thing I recommend you do if you're going to store your jewelry is don't throw it in a big pile. I like to separate my jewelry. Keep it apart from each other, because diamonds can scratch other diamonds, diamonds can scratch gold, and you don't want to, you want to keep everything looking its sparkling best. So I say separate your jewelry. I use these trays. I get these at Container Store. They're stackable. They have a clear plastic top so you can see what's inside. And this is sort of a velvety kind of thing. So I separate my jewelry in that. You can also use little suede or fabric pouches. These are nice because they have a divider inside. So if you have earrings, you can put one on one side, one on the other. And yes, I know once it's in here, you can't tell what it is. So I just take a Sharpie and I write down what I'm putting in there. And I have a bunch of these, and then you can just throw them into a dresser drawer or whatever you want, but it keeps them from scratching each other. So separation is really important, and putting them in something soft is very helpful, as opposed to a wooden box or plastic. Something that's soft will also help absorb any skin oils that are on the jewelry. It's just a nicer way to keep it looking good. I recommend that you use ring holders. I have several of these. They are near my kitchen sink, my bathroom sink. or a little saucer, any place where you're going to be taking off your jewelry, especially your rings. Put your ring holder there, and then you'll also sort of remember where you left it. That helps. We're going to talk about how to keep your jewelry clean in a minute, but yes, we need to keep jewelry clean. This is something I recommend to my clients. Get in the habit of doing this if you can. When you put on your jewelry, don't do it in the bathroom. Bathrooms can be really dangerous for jewelry. If you drop something, chances are you're over the sink, and I can't tell you how many people I know who've lost rings and earrings down the drain. So the drain's a problem. If you drop it on the counter, chances are it's stone or tile. That's hard. You can shatter a gemstone, chip a gemstone. And then if worst case scenario, it goes all the way to the floor, it's concrete or tile, stone. A lot of bad things can happen to jewelry in the bathroom. So try and put your jewelry on in a place where if it's going to fall, it falls onto something soft, or maybe just over your vanity so it only drops a few inches, but not standing over the sink. Bathrooms are bad. No gripping. If you are a golfer, or you are a gardener, or you lift free weights, please don't do that with your rings on. It's not so much that it will harm the gemstones, but what happens is you start to get your rings bent. They will start to bend out of round. And as the ring bends out of round, then your settings can become loose and you can lose a stone. It's not so much about it being ugly, or it's just, you just don't want little diamonds falling out of your rings. So please get in the habit, if you can, of not wearing your rings while you're playing tennis or any of those sports where you're gripping something repeatedly, and also pounding on things. Just get yourself a little platinum band or a little gold band. It doesn't matter if that goes out of round because it has no gems in it, and the jeweler can always fix that for you quite easily. But anything with gemstones set in it, it's a good habit to not wear that while you're gripping anything. Hold your applause. Okay, if you're going to a concert, to the symphony, any place that you're going to be applauding, I know this sounds nitpicky, but I've seen it. People who wear eternity bands or rings on both hands, clap, 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 very enthusiastically clapping. And the next day they have chipped diamonds in the backs of their rings or dents in the other hand. So when I now go to any of those, well, I haven't been to a lot of performances in the last 2 years, but when we start to go back to a lot of concerts, I try and remember to only wear rings on one hand. I had very expensive repair come in one time from this exact situation. She'd been out at Riverport or whatever it's called now, and had multiple chipped stones in her rings. Chlorine is not jewelry cleaner. If you like the way your rings look when you come out of the swimming pool or the hot tub, I get it, or your bracelets or whatever, but chlorine can actually attack the gold in your jewelry, and over time it will pit the gold. And after it starts attacking the gold, if you do this frequently, then you start losing the integrity of your settings for your stones. So it's, again, not so much about ruining the jewelry. It's about ruining the mountings and the stones falling out. And you don't want to have to search around the bottom of the swimming pool for a diamond, and you don't want to have your ring repaired. So just try not to wear your jewelry when you're in chlorine, especially if you do it all the time. An annual checkup. I met a woman a number of years ago now. She came into Ellard Heffern and she wanted to have her jewelry cleaned and polished and checked, and she wanted to shop around. And so I, of course, was speaking with her, and I learned that she plans this out every year. She schedules her mammogram, and then after the mammogram and hopefully good results, she goes to the jewelry store and she has her rings checked and her jewelry checked for wear once a year. And then she adds a couple things to her wish list in the hopes that maybe sometime down the road that they'll become part of her collection. But I thought, what a smart idea. You're practicing self-care, you're doing what you need to do, getting your mammogram, and then you're treating yourself by going to the jewelry store, by having your jewelry cleaned and checked. Thought that was really smart. I've mentioned that to a lot of people, and I think it's a good way to remember to do it because time just evaporates. And your ring, you should check your jewelry once a year. If you wear it all the time, it should be checked because there are often loose stones, prongs that need to be replaced or retipped. It's a good habit to get into. And then consider insuring your jewelry. Insurance is a boring topic and I'm not going to go into it, but I know a lot of people who don't wear their jewelry because they're afraid of losing it. They're afraid it's going to be stolen or they're just afraid. And, you know, jewelry is meant to be worn. So I recommend buy it, insure it, and wear it. There are several different types of jewelry insurance. Talk to your insurance professional and have your jewelry, have it be a comfortable situation for you that you can wear your jewelry without any fear. There's no point in having it sit in the safety deposit box or the jewelry box. In fact, if that's the case and it's not a family heirloom, I recommend let's sell it and let's get something that you will enjoy, whether it's a trip or a piece of art for the wall or something. But putting things in the jewelry box and them never seeing the light of day, it's not worth it. Buy it, wear it, insure it, and enjoy it. Okay, let's talk about cleaning your jewelry. I have my own little method that I like to use. Again, this is also on my website. And I think it's part of our raffle today as well. I recommend that you go to the store and get some Dow bathroom cleaner. Now, I think Brooke has a slide. I think this is an old, that packaging may be a little old, but it's just look for the familiar green cap. And Dow bathroom or scrubbing bubbles, as it's called now, is actually just ammonia that's been aerated. So, Brooke, if you want to come back to me, I recommend that you go to either your bathroom sink or your kitchen sink. You want to pull the stopper. That's the first thing you do, is stop up the sink. Take a hand towel or a dish towel and lay it on the counter. Get yourself a saucer, something that you can place your jewelry in. So you're going to take your saucer and put whatever you want to have cleaned into the saucer, maybe 2 or 3 pieces. Spray that with a big mound of white bubbles and it'll mound up, and then just leave it alone. The bubbles will dissipate and they will work their way into all the cracks and crevices in your piece of jewelry. Then you will take an old toothbrush. You're going to put a little bit of tepid water, not too hot, not too cold, into the sink. Dip your brush into the sink, get it wet, and scrub your jewelry, especially the underside and underneath the gemstones, with your toothbrush. Once you've done that, you can dip the piece of jewelry into the tepid water and put it over on the towel. And if you have 2 or 3 pieces, do that with all of them. Just gently scrub. If it's a really grimy ring, you may have to do it twice, and let it dry on the towel. You can pat it dry over on the side. Once everything is cleaned, then you can unstop your sink after it's all said and done. That will give you a very bright and shiny and sparkly look to your gemstones and your metals. It will not look like it's brand new because we're not polishing, but you're cleaning very well. This is great for watches. If you have a metal band on your watch, you'll probably gross yourself out because it's amazing what gets, if you wear your watch every day, but scrub it. And especially if it's a waterproof watch, you can scrub all around your wristwatch. It really does a remarkable job. Now, there are things I don't want you to do this with. Do not do this with any kinds of beads. Anything that has string running through it, you don't want to do it because the water can rot the string. So no beads, no pearls, no emeralds, no opals, no coral. Anything that is somewhat porous or soft, you don't want to do it with. However, it works great on gold, silver, stainless steel, diamonds, rubies, sapphires, any of the quartz gemstones, amethyst, citrine, rose quartz. There are specific instructions again on my website, but I think you'll really be astounded at how clean your jewelry can be just from a little TLC and a little Dow bathroom cleaner. Okay. Let's talk one other point I want to make. When you are lucky enough and fortunate enough to receive a piece of fine jewelry as a gift, or if you are smart enough to be buying fine jewelry for yourself, take the extra little step and make sure that it fits you properly. Just like clothes, we have them tailored. If it's a nice garment, we have our clothes tailored to fit our bodies. And it can be just a ½ inch off a cuff or whatever. It's the same thing with jewelry. You want to make sure, if possible, that your link bracelets fit you properly. You don't want them sliding down to this part of your hand. You know, I ask the jeweler to have a few links removed so that it fits you properly and so that it's comfortable. It will wear better. You will enjoy wearing it more. Of course, we all have our earrings fit so that they're not pinching our ears. But I notice, I notice a lot of women who have beautiful diamond stud earrings. They're wearing them and the studs are literally, they're so big and heavy or whatever, they're tipping forward, they're facing down. There are these little gadgets, little earring backs. I'll draw one for you. So you have your earring back and with the hole through it, so the clutch back goes onto your ear. They have a little coil up at the top. If you can see that, there's a little coil of metal above the earring back. When you use that on a stud earring, it offers support. And so the stud goes from tipping down to sitting up and out properly. It is such an easy fix and it makes all the difference in the world. I've sold these things to many, many women who've come in this store, and for just a couple $100 in gold even, they say, my God, those earrings look twice as big. The light gets into them, they sparkle and scintillate, and they're beautiful. So watch your stud earrings too. You can go on Amazon and buy these little things in stainless steel for $20, and they make all the difference in the world. So pay attention to fitting. Just the slightest adjustment can make a big difference in the way your jewelry looks on you. So, all right, let's move on. How to wear fine jewelry. Okay. Everybody has their own personal style. And one of the greatest things about jewelry is that you get to express your personal style from what pieces you put on that day. So I am not saying that one style is better than another. I'm just telling you sort of what's going on in the industry today. So the number one rule on wearing fine jewelry is that there are no rules. It used to be that it was considered gauche to wear diamonds during the day. You know, that is long gone. People still ask me, can I mix metals? Can I wear yellow gold and white metal together? And absolutely. It's all about proportion and balance and how it all comes together. So here's a couple things that you can try if you want to spice it up a little bit and try something new. You could be like Coco Chanel, wear your faux jewelry with your fine jewelry. She was a master at this, but go for it in a bigger way. Mix it all up. No one's really going to know what's faux and what's real anyway. And it's a new way to try and wear your jewelry. I like to mix vintage pieces with very modern pieces and have more of an eclectic look so that not everything is from the same era. I think that's very sophisticated, and it shows an appreciation for art across the ages, across the decades, and it shows an appreciation for the integrity and beautiful craftsmanship, especially of older pieces. Certainly you can mix your yellows and white metals and all different colors of metals together. One of the most interesting tips I ever heard was from someone I like. I admire her personal style, and that is Erin Lauder, the granddaughter of Estee Lauder. And she said in an interview once that she wears her dressiest jewels with her most casual clothes. So if she has a fabulous pair of earrings, she likes to wear that with a white shirt and a pair of jeans. And the contrast really calls attention to the beauty of the jewelry. But she said also when she's wearing very, very formal gowns, that she likes to wear simple jewelry. Again, it's about that contrast and the play of high and low, which we've all been mastering over the last 25 years, I think. I have a few slides. I just put together a look, just random look of some things that I liked together. This is a brand new bracelet by a Italian designer named Vernier. This is their Manjou bracelet. It just came out this year. So this particular version of it is titanium links. They are extremely lightweight. It is that black matte metal that you see there. If you play golf, you have titanium shafts on your clubs. You know, it's very durable, and a lot of men get titanium wedding bands these days. But what's fun about this is you can change it up. Like there's a green link there that is set with Tsavorite garnets, green garnets, and that link can be switched out for a plain gold link or multiple plain gold links, or they have a pave diamond version. So to me, this is an almost industrial, very contemporary piece of jewelry. But I thought, you know, I would pair that with something that was older. And so if we can go to the next slide. Maybe go to the next, there we go. This is an Edwardian ring, probably from about 1910, with 3 diamonds in the center, probably old European cut diamonds, and black enamel around each stone. I think this ring would look great on a middle finger. I probably wouldn't wear it on the same hand as the bracelet. I'd have the bracelet on one and the ring on the other. But I think they work well together. But again, they're the very modern, and then a piece that's over 100 years old. And then I would pair that, I think, with these earrings that we just zipped by. These were created by Adam Foster, who's a St. Louis jeweler, and his studio is right down the street from NCJW in the old Fur Center building. These are 18 karat yellow gold with ribbons of white diamonds set in white gold. The shape is very classic, that kind of shrimp, that tapered domed hoop, half hoop style is very classic, but Adam has made it his own. The yellow gold is hand engraved with hundreds and hundreds of tiny etchings to give it that glowing kind of look. Again, I like this with the Edwardian ring, and I like it with the very modern industrial bracelet. So that's just an idea of how I might wear my jewelry. That's kind of my personal style. I try and mix it up. I like things from different eras and different vintages. I think that's really, to me, it's fun. It's pretty. Lastly, and before, I have no idea where we are on time, so I'm just going to go through these and then we can open it up to questions. But 10 reasons why collecting fine jewelry is the best kind of collection that you can have. First of all, jewelry is beautiful, and it can make you look and feel beautiful every time you put it on. You can wear and admire your pieces from your collection throughout the day. So there's not a lot of collections where you can do that unless it's shoes or you don't carry your handbag constantly. And if you wear clothing, you know, you may own a piece for 10 years, but jewelry has a much longer lifespan than that. Your jewelry is frequently an heirloom, whether it's something you've received from someone in the family or something that you will be giving to perhaps a daughter or a niece of yours. And that makes it very special. Jewelry is art and design and craftsmanship, all in one precious object. This might be the most important thing, actually. You know, we're talking about things that came out of the ground, a gemstone, as a piece of rough that a lapidary put facets on and formed, who then in turn, it was purchased by a designer who had an idea to create something from that specific gemstone. And then a goldsmith created it, crafted it by hand, set the stone. and the design and the art and the skill that went into creating this piece of jewelry, and you get to wear it, you get to look at it, especially if it's a bracelet or a ring, you get to look at it all day long, which is wonderful. Jewelry does not require much space in your home. It's a lot less than the model train collection in the basement or whatever, or cars. It has intrinsic value if you ever need to liquidate. I have sold jewelry from that belonged to women who've gotten divorced and they don't have a need for it. They don't want it anymore. And we have converted that to cash, and they have gone on fabulous vacations. They have purchased other things for themselves. And so there is value to it. Even the most nominal piece of jewelry, fine jewelry, has value to it. You can express yourself to the world through your jewelry wardrobe. It's a great way to express your personal style. In fact, the older I've gotten, the simpler my clothes have gotten, and the more I enjoy jewelry to accessorize. Jewelry is easy to transport. If it is properly cared for, jewelry does not deteriorate. When you think about the fact that we can look at jewels that are from ancient Egypt, 5,000 years ago, jewelry will last a long time if it's properly cared for. And of course, jewelry is often, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We have like one more minute, and I wanted to do your raffle and everything. So are you, what number, how much?
I'm finished.
I want to get everything in. Are you sure?
I'm finished. Jewelry is often a commemoration of a special occasion, and I'll stop. I'm sorry I didn't have a timer on.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Anne. You've been fantastic. But like I said, I wanted to get the raffle in, but before we do it, we want to thank you for being on this by giving you, by sponsoring a child in your name for our Back to School Store program. And that's an annual program where we provide more than 2,000 kids everything they need to prepare for the start of school. So on to our raffle. Anne graciously gave us everything you need to clean your jewelry. There's a book on gemstones, as well as a complimentary 1-hour consultation with her. So Susan has the names of everyone that's been on this call, and she's going to draw the name, and we will work out the details of how to get this to the winner.
And the winner is Carla Rosen.
Yay!
Congratulations, Carla.
Yes. And thank you for being on here, Carla. So we'll work it out with you, Carla, how to get this box to you. And it's already 9:30. I was going to get in some of the questions. But before I forget, our next coffee talk is Tuesday, March 22nd. Our special guest is Leslie McAdoo from the St. Louis Art Museum. I don't know if we want to take one question for Anne.
I could stay as long as you want. I'd feel terrible that I went so long.
Okay. There's a couple, someone said, Lee said, I remember when everyone pretty much looked down on artificial diamonds. That's no longer true.
Well, the diamonds that are being created now, these lab-grown diamonds, they are actual diamonds. They are not artificial diamonds. They are real diamonds. So everything that came before this has either been a diamond simulant or a substitute. So this is new. These are real diamonds.
Okay. And do we know that Karen Tabak asked, do we know about the treatment of workers in the diamond factories as compared to the dangers in the diamond mines?
That is something that I can say is the treatment of the workers is much more regulated, because it only takes a few people in the factory to do the work, and they're not obviously in dangerous situations. They're not underground. So yes, it is generally considered a much safer environment. It does employ a lot fewer people. And we do have to remember that South Africa in particular, there's an entire industry and culture built around the diamond mines, and it provides jobs and housing. So you have to look at both sides of the equation, but yes, it is much safer for sure.
And last question about cleaning. Are emeralds too soft for the ammonia?
It is, emeralds have a number more inclusions in them than most gemstones. And so they have little fractures that can break the surface of the stone, and that is pretty common. They are typically oiled with a colored oil to seal those fractures, but when you use ammonia on an emerald, it can interact with that, and we don't want to be removing the oil from the emerald. It's a potential risk, so we just want to avoid it.
Okay, thank you. And we put the
Sure.
website, finejewelryconsultants.com up there.
Thank you. Judy just asked about tanzanite. I would avoid tanzanite as well. Tanzanite is also a softer gemstone, so I would not clean tanzanite with the scrubbing bubbles either.
Okay, and really fast, Susan asked a question. The best way to determine if pearls are real or fake. Do you look at the shape, the chain they're on?
You were breaking up. Just could you repeat it, please?
Oh, can you hear me? The best way to determine if pearls are fake. Do you look at the shape? Do you look at the chain?
Oh.
On?
Well, as a gemologist, I know how to do that. It helps if you have a microscope. It also, sometimes you can do it with a loop. But actually what we do is if you have access to a drill hole, so if you can see, if there's a hole in the pearl and it's on a strand, for instance, if you can see the drill hole, not you, probably just me, I can tell whether that nacre is real or if it is like a painted on substance. People also say if you rub them against your teeth, if they're gritty, they are pearls. If they're not, they're fake. You can read up on that online. Sometimes that works. It also depends on your teeth, I think. So there's a couple of ways, but the best way to do it is to have a gemologist look at them to know for sure.
Okay. Okay, great. If anyone, I don't see any more questions.
Okay.
From anyone.
Well,
Again,
I apologize. I wish you'd interrupted me sooner. I was on such a roll. But I want to thank.
I did not want to interrupt you.
Oh, I want to thank you and Susan and NCJW for giving me this opportunity. And I love talking about jewelry, and I hope it was informative and fun. And thank you again.
Thank you, Anne.
All righty. Bye-bye.